Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen here with Shelly Epperly. Today is Monday, April the 8th, 2019, not August. It's 8 p.m. in New York, 5 p.m. in Los Angeles. It's after midnight, 1 a.m. in London. Sydney, Australia is around 12 noon. But wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining us for another episode of LOA Today, your daily dose of happy. And we have a special guest joining us today. And Shelly, why don't you introduce our special guest to everybody?
This is Alan, and he is a practicing hypnotherapist.
I'm a quantum healing hypnosis technique practitioner, and I'm a certified life coach, and I'm also just about to be a physical fitness trainer, and I'm getting together workshops and becoming a motivational speaker as well. So that's me.
It's a good
and
thing.
You also do
it's a good thing that people don't use business cards as much anymore. You would never get all that on a business card. Wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I tried. Filled it right up.
You'd have your name and a whole bunch of initials after it.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry, Shelly, I interrupted you twice. What were you saying?
No, I was just going to say, and you do some channeling too, right?
Yeah, well, that's kind of the interesting thing is the way that I do my writings. It comes through as like a type of channeling that I do, where I feel that I'm receiving spiritual information, and it just knocks on my door. And my job is to get it in the right words. My job is to articulate it as completely and as clearly as I possibly can. And many people tell me I do, so it's working. So far, so good.
Well, that's fun. I mean, that's great having that skill, first of all. I mean, I've tried to improve my own communications in that way with mixed results. So congratulations for having gotten to the point where you can get clear messages that are intelligible.
Well, thank you. I don't know how I got that skill. It's just one of those things, you know. We all come to the world with different things that we can just naturally do, and that's just one of mine. Yeah,
I guess so.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great. That's fabulous. So I don't even know where to begin on this, but how did you get started doing all of this?
Well, interestingly enough, the coaching and the quantum healing hypnosis kind of came side by side, because I was looking into the coaching first because I had this idea. You know, I look up to people like Tony Robbins and Jack Canfield, you know, all the motivational speakers, Bob Proctor, all those guys, you know, Joseph Murphy, he's one of my favorites, going way back with Joseph Murphy. And I loved the motivational speakers, and I felt I always had this deep calling that I'm supposed to do something along those lines, or I'm supposed to get this information that clears people's minds, because, you know, that's everything. You have a clear mind. If your mind is right here, then everything works. If your mind is wrong here, then nothing works. And so I have great respect for the mind and getting the mind oriented spiritually.
I'm also realizing too we've got a little bit of a confusing video screen here, because you're logged in as Alan with the video, but the microphone's turned off for that, and you're plugged in using the phone, so you're coming in. So we're getting a weird thing on the video. So I'm going to suggest you hang up the phone and then you turn on your microphone if needed. Actually, I think I'm able to do a part of it, and do that through the app, and then you should be good.
Yeah, I was wondering where that phone number kept popping up.
How about now? How's that?
Oh, not only is it working, but it even sounds better.
Yeah. Wonderful. Now I have to get you on speakerphone. Hang on a second.
It takes a little doing sometimes too.
How do we do that? How do we do speakerphone from here? Well, I can kind of hear you, so I'll just I'll listen very closely.
I think there's actually there's a button that I can't remember where it is on the iPhone, but there's a button.
Does it look like a pyramid with sound waves coming out of it?
Could have been. Try that.
Okay, I'll try it.
See if that does it for you. Does that work? No.
Wait a second. I think there we go. I got it.
There you go.
Fantastic. Okay, it's working. I finally figured this out.
Welcome to the 21st century.
Yeah, right. I'm always the last guy to find out about technology. I am the last guy. I don't even want to tell you when I bought my first cell phone. But anyway, like I was saying, I found out about the law of. I'm sorry. I found out about coaching, that I was going to go down that path. I met someone from the school that I was going to, from the online coaching school that I was attending, and she said that she loved the school. She loved everything about it, but what grabbed her interest and pulled her in a brand new direction was hearing of quantum healing hypnosis technique, and QHHT for short, and which was invented and pioneered and perfected by what's her name, Dolores Cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Over the past 40 some odd years. I think it's been 40 years.
Wow.
And so Dolores Cannon came up. It's a regressive hypnosis technique that brings you back to past lives and other ways of being that could only be described as cosmic. Okay. And so it's some deep stuff. And so I was talking to this girl about the coaching, and she said, yeah, coaching's great and all that. She was almost fluffing it off. But she said the quantum healing hypnosis really grabbed her and pulled her. So I said, oh, my God, I have to check that out, because I thought to myself, I had this plan. I said, I would love to be certified in every area of the being, which is mind, and you go to coaching, body, you go to physical fitness trainer, and spirit, the quantum healing hypnosis. So I thought, I'm covering all the bases with that: mind, body, spirit.
Very good.
And so that was my plan.
Really good. Yeah.
And so I went. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a terrific path there. That's really good. Now, your coaching, you're gonna have to tell us a little bit more about what approach and perspective you bring to coaching. I mean, there are people who are law of attraction coaches, and there are people who are general life coaches, and some focus on building careers, and some people focus on relationships, and some people focus on health. I kind of get the feeling yours is toward health because of the quantum healing thing. But what's your orientation? How does it all fit together for you?
It's actually law of attraction, very much so law of attraction, because doing something right now. I'm in day 2 of a workshop that I have developed, and I'm in day 2 of it. I just did that today. We're going for 30 days with this, okay?
Okay.
And the 30 days is because it takes between 20 and 30 days to form a habit. It's been scientifically proven that it takes between 20 and 30 days to form a solid habit. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing kind of a group coaching thing. I had this idea to get everyone teleconferenced, 10 of us, and we are all working as a mastermind, a law of attraction mastermind. And I'm using techniques that I developed that I have used because I've been on this path, studying the spiritual path for about 20 some odd years now, since I was 22 and I'm 45 now.
Okay.
And so it's been something that has gradually opened up in me. And I didn't until very recently feel like turning this into something big that I'm trying to get out there into the world. So I'm definitely a law of attraction coach. However, I'm having way more fun doing this workshop thing. I think I am definitely built to get a workshop going and get it and start to scale it upwards from there.
Very good. That's great. I mean, when you find your calling like that, when you find something, I mean, that's what the podcasting is for me. But when you find something like that and it jazzes you that much, it almost doesn't even matter what you're doing with it. What matters is how much you love it, because that love carries through so much and affects so many people in ways that you can't even begin to measure. That's what I find anyway.
Yes, yeah. When your enthusiasm is there, it is so true what they say. And I didn't understand that until very recently. I always heard the saying that says, follow your passion. If you're following your passion, it will do itself. It'll work itself through you. And I've always heard that. Everyone's heard that cliche a million times. Mm-hmm. I'm only describing how absolutely real that is, because I'm finding that it works through me. Like, it's almost like I'm an instrument for whatever that is that wants to work through me. And it's working itself. It's putting itself together. I'm having an absolute blast doing it. So following passion, I think, is the greatest thing that we can do while we're here.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's something that I was watching today on Facebook. It was by a law of attraction coach, And I won't name who she is or what her particular affirmation was that she was talking about or anything like that, because that's not part of my purpose. But I was watching it because there are a number of people who follow this person, and I've been seeing a pattern out of it. I'm curious to see what you say, and I'm curious to see what Shelly says about what it was that I was observing. With this is one of those, you know, there are lots of different methods that people do. 30-day methods like you're talking about, because like you say, that's 20 to 30 days is typically what it takes to establish a habit. And I've certainly experienced that. I know you have. I'm sure Shelly has. So it's definitely, even beyond scientifically true, it's experientially true. We know it's true just from doing it. And she has one of these too, and that's fine. I was listening to her video where she was explaining this, and she said something that I realized I've heard people say often who are life coaches and who do workshops or videos or other kinds of presentations to help people learn how to do whatever technique they're doing, whatever process it is. Again, that's perfectly great. But one of the things that she said to me was, not to me, but to the audience, kind of caught my attention, and I said, you know, I think it kind of leads to problems. Because what she said was, and I'm going to paraphrase here a little bit, but this is the gist of what she was driving at. When you do something regularly, you turn it into a habit. And when you turn it into a habit, what you end up doing is reprogramming your mind so that it only focuses on what you want. And I thought about that and I said, no, it doesn't. What it does is it reprograms your mind to focus on the thing that you're trying to focus on while you're doing it, so you can keep building that vibration. It does not change all of your thinking in all areas. Not necessarily. It can. I'm not saying that it can't. I'm just saying it doesn't necessarily do it. And I point that out as a way of saying, I wonder how many people who are coaches, well-meaning coaches, trying very hard to help people, end up putting out false ideas into people's heads. Because I see it a lot on Facebook. I see it in the law of attraction groups. I see it with people who get these really misleading ideas about how LOA works and about how to apply it in their lives. And they get confused and dismayed when it doesn't work the way it was advertised, because they were led to believe it can do more than it can do. So I'm curious to see what's your take on that.
Well, my take is that as a coach or any kind of person like that, like motivator or coach, no one should ever bring something that they have not discovered as working in themselves. Mm-hmm. Okay? I think the best way that you can help is to bring what you have used to help yourself, what you've discovered to be helpful, because if it has worked for you, then it is true that it does work. Mm-hmm. It does work if it works for you, it works for other people too. Not everybody. I know everyone's different. However, all you can bring is what you have gone through and what you have to offer.
Yes.
that has worked for you. And so what I'm finding is that, first of all, I had spectacular, unexpected results from the first two workshops. Literally, I have a group full of 6 people, and 3 of those people on the first day, and we had not even gone through the exercises yet, 3 of those people were audibly sobbing, okay? At the very end, they were audibly sobbing, and which surprised me. I did not expect that. Mm-hmm. But it was a good sob though. They were releasing some stuff and coming to some realizations, which was beautiful. And then 2 guys in the group actually messaged me afterwards and told me that because part of the focus was on how to break bad habits and negative habits. Mm-hmm. And, I didn't bring up smoking or anything like that. I just talked about how to break habits. And they came to me a little bit after the first meeting that we had, and said that they were determined to stop. And they were actually that day already cutting down their smoking.
Good.
They were already, seriously committed in the process of actively quitting smoking. So I know that this is working. I know that they can sense my passion through this. Mm-hmm. And I'll just reiterate it again, that the only thing that we can bring to help someone is what we know has helped ourselves. And I've used myself as a lab rat. Mm. And I'd like to really kind of explain that for a second, if I may. I've used myself as a lab rat in the sense of I have this deep kind of impulse in me that says, I just need to know. I need to know the answer. What happens when I fully, people say let go in life, and they say, just let go and let the universe drive and what happens? Well, instead of wondering, I really did put it to the test, and I really did let go all the way. And I'm the kind of person that puts things like that to a test, even if it costs me something, even if it costs me something like my way of living, my livelihood. I would put something to the test in order to get to a core, fundamental spiritual truth that I have to understand, because that's most important to me. And with that, I've come across a lot of things that I have experimented on myself with and that have worked. And so that's what I'm bringing to the workshop. And again, I think people should only bring forward what they know works for themselves. That's all we have to offer.
Yeah, ultimately, that's true. That's true. Shelly, what do you think? I mean, I want to make sure that I bring you in on that one, too. I don't know how much you've dealt with this kind of thing, but I know you've done some stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree that you need to bring forth what you have experienced. I know that's what I do, but I think it's also really important, and it sounds like maybe she wasn't so clear on this, that, like Alan said, everybody has their own methods. Like, everybody has their own method of learning. Everybody has their own methods of seeing the light for whatever blocks that they have. So it takes them a little longer. I mean, I did finances for like almost 11 years, trying to figure out how to get in line with finances. And like a year ago, it clicked. And it was just like, wow, that's how it works. Okay, that's so cool. It started with car tires and it turned into this huge inheritance, So it was like just amazing. And when you hit something like that, you just want to shout it from the rooftops, but not everyone is ready to hear your shout. And so I think that when you are coaching other people in that, you have to realize that everybody is on their own path. They're all on their own place in the path. And if you are a life coach and you're like getting upset or irritated or frustrated with people that aren't where you are, then you're not a very good life coach, because you have to, just like, we all look at people like Tony Robbins or, any of the big guys, and we're like, wow, I'd love to be there, but we're not all there. But Tony Robbins, he might cuss at you and yell at you a little, but he's not going to put you down for where you're at. He's going to motivate you to get farther, So I just think that if you're saying that you're getting through one technique and it's gonna, I guess your question is basically, if you get through this technique, it will change everything and make everything, like, you'll see everything better. Is that basically what she was saying?
Yeah, a lot of it had to do with her specific techniques. So that's why I'm kind of hedging here, because I don't want to be specifically hitting on one person saying, oh, no, well, this person screwed up or something like that. Because I know she was doing it from her own experience, just like you were talking about, Alan. I mean, this was a technique that had worked for her. No, it's more along the lines of explaining that it's the repetition that will attract everything to you. That's really what it added up to. And it's not the repetition that does it. It's an I think that's what I'm talking about. It's an incomplete presentation, and she was leaving out some key components that are key to understand if you're trying to understand why something isn't working for you. Go ahead, Alan. Talk about what you're going to think. What you were going to say there.
Who were you asking? Sorry,
I was asking you.
Oh, me. Okay, well, for the law of attraction, what I find is that we attract what we feel. So it's a feeling thing that attracts. Right. Okay, so when we feel something in the emotions, where do you feel the emotions? You feel them in the chest and in the solar plexus. You feel them in your midsection. And if you really notice very closely, if you're paying very close attention, you notice your emotions are literally like a vibration. Mm. When you have an emotion, you can feel that it's a vibration. It's an actual rate of vibration. Mm. So that goes on forward to do the creating, because of course, if you've ever seen the sand vibration plate experiment, where they put sand on top of a plate and they vibrate the plate at different frequencies, and the sand forms repeatable, definite patterns every single time. Mm-hmm. So if you were to vibrate the plate at B sharp, it will absolutely make this symmetrical pattern on the plate. It looks like people, literally like artists, were doing these, symmetry art presentations. And every time you change it, the sand will rearrange. Well, the outer world is the sand. You think of the outer world as the atoms and molecules, and they're like the grains of sand. What you vibrate at will rearrange the atoms and the molecules outside of you, as known as your physical world. And it all depends on what you are emitting, what you are vibrating. Mm-hmm. If you're the kind of person who thinks you're always in the wrong place at the wrong time, then all of the particles, the outside world mirror, mm-hmm. will show you, yes, master, you're always at the wrong place at the wrong time. Yes, master, yes. Your wish is my command. So that it really is about that. It's about feeling and making the visualizations as real to all 5 of your senses as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. It's and maintaining that vibration without contradiction. That is so important. Maintaining the vibration without contradiction. And the repetition part of it that the coach you mentioned brought up, the repetition part of it is good for getting yourself into a new mode or a new habit. Right. But you're right when you say it's not the whole. Of course, it's not the whole thing. You have to have the feeling is really the whole thing. Is how often you keep yourself in that vibration. Yeah, I agree with you. I had something I was going to reply to there, but I can't remember what it is. So, Shelly, did you want to add something to that?
I was just going to say kind of the same thing, that the repetition,
repetition.
Is definitely like what forms those habits. You do the repetition for 21 to 30 days and you create a new habit. And what happens with that is, like, I have to go back to that occasionally with different things. I have to go, oh yeah, I'm kind of falling back on that a little bit, so I need to get back on track. So I'll do something for a while to get myself back in that vibration or that mode. But I think that the habits that you're looking for are the habits of choosing the best thing that you can possibly focus on in every single moment. Yes. So just, in traffic is one of my challenges. I get a little road rage and, say things to people that I would never say to their face because I'm in the privacy of my car, and I've ridden with my 21-year-old daughter, and she's definitely taken after her mother in that department. And, and so it's those kind of challenges where I'm out in the world and I'm behind somebody that's super slow, or there's somebody behind me that's tailgating me, or whatever the situation is. I mean, we all deal with traffic, and going, you know what? This person, number one, is in a big hurry, or maybe they don't drive well, or maybe they're having car problems, or maybe they're just enjoying the journey here instead of trying to get there as soon as possible. And I really had to bring myself back and go, I need to slow down. I'm a work-at-home mom. I have time freedom. I don't have to be there in 2 minutes. I could be there in 10 minutes and nothing is going to change. Everything will still be fine, So it's just like that whole situation. To me, that's when you have perfected the habit of being in the positive vibration, is just getting to that point where you get in these little frustrated situations and you're like, oh, okay, I don't have to go there. I need to choose to be happy in the situation, to be understanding and empathetic and enjoy whatever it is that you're in, and that goes from everything from traffic to, dropping something and breaking it, or, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I agree. I mean, I totally get it because, I mean, well, my favorite thing to do is make a joke about how I'm amazed that person never passed driver's ed. And then after I've made my joke and I've laughed a little bit, then I'll create a whole bunch of distance between me and then I'll say, okay, you take that part of the highway, I'll take this part of the highway, we'll be fine. Then I just leave it like that.
Yeah.
But you have to find some way to laugh. You have to find some way to shift it. You're right. Because otherwise, if you don't shift it, you're just going to stay right in that vibration of attracting more of it, which is the last thing that we want. I mean, I was actually having a conversation with somebody through Facebook Messenger. She had approached me about a number of issues that she's dealing with. And I won't go into what the issues are because they're private for her. But the theme that kept coming up over and over again kind of touched on what you were talking about, Alan, about not wanting to contradict the vibration you're putting out there. And it became pretty apparent to me that it's probably one of the most difficult things for people to understand because so much of the time we don't know and don't understand that we are putting out contradictory messages, even when it's pointed out to us. I'm finding you can point out to somebody they're putting out the contradictory message, but all they're really noticing is, well, I'm focusing on this positive thing over there. Yeah, I did have this negative thing that I thought about for a moment here, but I was really focusing on the positive thing over there, and they kind of discount the negative thing. You run into that at all, Alan?
Yeah, discounting. I'm sorry, I'm just plugging in the phone so that I don't lose power here.
That's a good idea, yes.
Discounting, okay, so your question is about discounting the negative thing for the positive thing, or
right.
vice versa?
Well, just discounting that the negative thing is even playing a role.
Well, here's the thing. The negative thing, I think, is definitely it's a description of, it's us framing something a certain way.
Right.
And I believe that there is no such thing as a negative. I think that it's how you spin it, how you use it.
I love it.
And I would like to just say this. This is the message that I would like blasted loud and clear for everyone to hear. There is not one single thing that can ever happen to you that cannot somehow be used to sharpen some aspect of yourself.
And it's hard sometimes.
So with that, we either trust what is in our path, we either trust and we are creative enough to turn that into a usable way to expand ourselves. We either trust it and use it, or we buckle and we use it to hurt ourselves. We say, oh, this is doing this to me, it's hurting me. So for me, I don't believe in a negative anymore. I believe this goes a little deeper into esoteric waters. Do you mind me going there?
Not at all. I love doing this stuff, so feel free.
Okay. So with me, part of what I do with the law of attraction coaching is I get people back to 0 point. And I call it 0 point. But you can call it God self-remembrance, or you can call it source mind remembrance, where we are literally no longer separated at any degree from source. And we are literally the consciousness of the universe, because that is the self-image you want to create from. It's the most powerful self-image you can create from is source remembrance. You are source, you are God, you are goddess, you are whatever you want to call it. I don't like to really call it God all the time because people think I'm being religious. And I'm not religious. It's not a religious term when I say God self. I just mean that there is one energy, one consciousness, and we can be anywhere in that spectrum where we can think of ourselves as a low human that's with all the insecurities and all of the fears and all the doubts and all the worries, or we can go to the very highest place to create from and remember ourselves as divine source consciousness, and we will not have any of those weird subconscious roadblocks and contradictions inside of us as we're trying to create. So
obviously that is an ideal place to be, and it's one that many people struggle to get to. So when someone's struggling, how do you recommend that they get themselves there? Because, I mean, what you're talking about is very similar to, say, what Neville Goddard talks about, or an Abraham Hicks, or anybody who's talking about connecting to that higher power, that inner being, that source, that God, the universe, whatever it is that you want to describe it. You're talking about that connection and being in that place of just being there, not worrying about anything else, just being in that place. That's not always an easy place to get to.
It's not easy, but here's the answer to that. Experiential practices that recondition the subconscious mind.
Yeah.
Experiential practices are what bring the person there. And once you start getting into the experiential practices, then it starts to recondition the subconscious in a way that concepts cannot do. Okay? First of all, it's necessary for the person to grasp a concept, but then they have to step it up and turn that into an experience for it to become real.
Right.
Okay? So that's what I do is I introduce concepts, and then I turn that into experiential practices, and then through the repetition, like your coach friend, emphasize the importance of repetition, and bring that all together into an amalgamation that just works. It absolutely just works. And I have little tips and tricks. There's one that I like to use that says, think of all of your emotions as warning lights. Okay, you have warning lights on your car when you're almost out of gas, and when something's wrong with your engine. You have a warning light on your car. So the same thing with your emotions. If you feel even the slightest emotion of dread or fear or worry or doubt or am I good enough? Do I have what it takes to do this? Whatever, right? All those thoughts and feelings that make you feel less than source, automatically, as soon as you get even the slightest hint, you consider that a warning light and you immediately distrust it. You don't fight with it, because what you fight with, you give power to. Mm-hmm. What you do is you replace it with its opposite. You replace it with the exact polar opposite thought. And you have to use your imagination to do that, of course. You have to say, well, if I'm afraid to go speak in front of people, which I was, believe it or not, I was a total introvert, could not speak to people. The way that I turned that around is I imagined, well, what is the opposite of that? And what does someone feel and act like when they're totally confident, and why do they feel that way? And I had to use my imagination to get there. But then I just started surrounding my mind and putting my mind in those shoes. And then that's the wonderful thing about the subconscious. It doesn't tell you yes or no. It accepts whatever you put into it as soil. And so you do something long enough and it will believe you. So now I believe that I'm an extrovert. I started out very shy, very nervous about talking to people. Now I'm ready to be a public speaker.
That's cool.
I completely reconditioned myself.
And I can appreciate that, by the way, because I grew up as a complete introvert myself. I was the ultimate wallflower. I mean, I'm a very tall man, but despite my height, I could hide in a corner and nobody would see me. Well, not entirely true, but because of my height, they'd still see me, but they would ignore me because I was hiding in the corner. And here I am doing podcasts, 5 days a week. So, yes, you can get there.
Awesome.
You can turn it around. Anybody, hey, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm telling you.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool.
Are you guiding when you're bringing somebody through that? You're guiding them.
Yes. It's what I'm doing in the 30-day workshop seminar. We spend half an hour a day, and there are many practices in there. Like I said, we're a mastermind, and you know the importance of a mastermind and how that can be helpful when you have an entire group making you stick to. When you're left to your own devices, you can fall off the horse and forget to get back on. When you're in a group, no one's going to let you forget. And so, yes, it is guided. I do guide them through practices, through interactive practices. And, it's the more guidance there is. Guidance is very necessary in the beginning until a habit is formed. And so that's what we're going for. Yeah. And a little bit of good news I want to tack onto this is I'm pretty excited about this, actually. A friend of mine who followed me because of my writing, I met her the same way that I met you, Shelly. She liked my writings on Facebook, and she happens to be like a really established MD, there in British Columbia, really at the top of her game, has all these credentials. And she is connected with some big people, and her idea is to get what I'm doing, to basically collaborate with me, put together a program that can be accredited and funded by the big guys in her field who are looking to put medicine more towards a holistic approach.
Nice.
And Yeah. So I'm really excited. This could turn into something absolutely massive. I think we're on the cusp of that. I mean, she's hanging out with people who know Richard Branson. You know, that kind of connection. So I'm really excited. Really excited.
Very good.
Very cool.
Hey, we've got two questions. One's coming from our live stream audience, and the second one is somebody who has actually come onto the Blue Jeans platform to talk to us. So I'm going to go to the live stream question first. This is from Kevin, and it's for all of us really to address. Kevin asks, he says, first, I'm new to this. I've been meditating every night before bed, and I try to put myself in a good, positive place. I get flooded with hate, jealousy, horrible, negative places. I'm mostly focused on close people in my family's life. And this continues into my dreams when I fall asleep. Why? Is this a good thing? Am I releasing my energy, negative energy, cleansing myself, or will this get worse? And do I need to get to a 0 point? So, Alan, I'm going to go to you first since you're the one who brought up the idea of the 0 point. What can you tell Kevin?
Okay, Kevin, I would say that, first of all, do not give those things that you're feeling any credit or weight or power. What you want to think of them as is old habit. They're old habit. They're an old self, because anything that you don't want anymore can be changed from this point on. You can't change what you've done or what you've been, but you can change what you're about to be. And so what you want to do is, you don't want to fight with those. You definitely do not want to be intimidated or frightened or overwhelmed, because when you're intimidated, frightened, or overwhelmed and you react or flinch, as I would put it, that itself is adding to their strength. That itself is a new message to your subconscious that says, I believe this is true. Boy, are they big and scary. Boy, they're wrecking my life. You are literally using the language of the subconscious, which is feelings. Okay, that is the language of the subconscious. You're using feelings to reinforce those things. So what you want to do is you want to give them the middle finger. Okay, give those things the middle finger, smirk at them, laugh at them, and kind of go, is that all you got? And then replace them with their polar opposites. Yes. You know, look down on them like they're this little pipsqueak, and just go, you don't scare me, and replace them with their polar opposites. Just imagine the things that you love. Imagine the things that make you feel secure. Imagine the things that, you know, and it requires that you jump into your imagination to form new habits. And continuously do it, but you will get there if you just replace them with their polar opposites consciously, awarely, while being, while not flinching and not being rocked when they show up.
Shelly, Alan hasn't given you a whole lot of room to work with, because I think he's covered almost all of it. Do you have anything you can add to it?
I just think that in that situation, you have to find the fun in it, because for me, I just think that emotion of fun and joy and happiness, when you're in that place of like fear and lack and like, oh my God, these feelings, these thoughts are coming up that I don't want, and I don't know what to do with them, and I'm trying to be positive, but they keep coming up, and should I surrender to them or what? But what you said is like such a great thing to do, but to think of it more as a game. Like, okay, I got fear. What's the opposite of fear? Love and trust. Okay, I've got jealousy. What's the opposite of jealousy? It's like being happy for someone else because they're doing so amazingly. So if you just turn it, like, totally do exactly that. But if you look at it as a game, so every time those negative emotions come up, you're like, oh, I got it. I got this. So instead of being in basically the fear of the negative emotions, which is just like a horrible place to be, you're every time it comes up, it becomes kind of a little adventure and a challenge, and instead of like, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to think of something positive? Getting all freaked out about it.
I think that's good. I'm going to pile on to what you guys said, and I'm going to add one other thought, and that is, you identified, Kevin, all the things that you don't want, which is good. That's how we put out what Abraham calls the rock of desire. That's, no, I don't want that anymore. I want something else instead. And like Alan was pointing out, you have to go for what the opposite is. The opposite is what you really, really want. Sometimes that opposite can be a little bit far to reach. So I just want to throw out one other idea for you to do while you're doing your nightly practice, which is when you're doing your meditating, it can be before, during, or after. It really doesn't matter. I tend to like to do it during the meditating, but it can also work before or after. It doesn't make any difference. Before maybe probably is a little bit better than after. And that is to do what my wife and I came up with this. We call it the 3 good things. You simply go back through your day and you try to find 3 good things that happened that day. They can be things where you attracted something and it was some wonderful law of attraction manifestation, or it can be just 3 things that just were nice things. That just you took a dog for a walk and you had a great time taking the dog for the walk. It can be that simple. But the point is, you go back to those things and then you relive them in your mind. You put yourself back into that place so you can feel good about something. And if you can do that with 3 things, that's going to take you a few minutes to do that. So by doing that for a few minutes, you'll get yourself into a better feeling place, which is where it's going to be so much easier to find that better feeling thought than where you were in before. When you're in that negative spot, it's like, oh God, I can't find the negative thoughts. But when you just go through an easy exercise like that, that's just mundane stuff that happened throughout your day, and then you go after, okay, so what is it that I really want? It gets so much easier to get there. So try taking like an intermediate step, and that'll help you get to that place you want to be at faster. Plus, when you go through that process combined with your meditation, you're going to find that you just end up having fewer of those negative thoughts at night. Just because you took some time right before sleeping to program on stuff that was good that already happened. That was just a good part of your day. It wasn't like you didn't have any effort. It just kind of happened. So I'm not saying what I'm saying instead of what either because what they said was perfect. I'm just kind of saying in addition to that. That's all. And meanwhile, I have to go fix my video because my video froze. So, so Shelly, why don't you ask the next question here, and then after you do that, we'll get Jacob on. Jacob joining us on the platform. We'll bring him in a minute, but come up with a question for Alan to address while I fix my video.
Jeez, put me on the spot. I don't know. I don't really have.
Oh, I thought we've answered. Alan, you're amazing. You've answered all the questions before we could ask them. That's pretty good. All right.
No, just put me on.
You got your video fixed.
Oh, I got the video fixed. So, all right, let's go to Jacob there because I know Jacob has a question. So I'm going to unmute Jacob. Jacob, hello. How are you?
Hello.
Hello there. Thank you for joining us. Do you have a question for Alan?
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So please, I have a question for Alan.
Sure.
Alan, please. If I have a feeling with someone, can I show this feeling for her? And if I cannot show my feeling, does she feel my feelings?
Okay, so your question is, can you show your feelings? You want someone to know how you feel about them? Am I understanding that?
Exactly. Okay.
Well, sometimes when we feel very strongly about someone, they know. even if we don't say it, because there are so many variables and so many factors involved in human connection. Have you ever seen those instances where someone walks into a room, maybe even you walk into a room, and you don't make a sound or anything, but people turn around and look at you? That is, I mean, we are all reading each other's energy on a deep level. So on that level, I think that it will be clear. And sometimes we give away signs, but it really depends. If your question is about outwardly telling her directly how you feel about her, that really depends. I mean, is this a colleague? Is it someone that is it a neighbor? Is it appropriate do you feel that it's appropriate given your relationship? Because I know nothing about what kind of relationship it is. Can you elaborate?
According to law of attraction, from my consideration, my understanding for law of attraction, when you love something, you have the energy and the frequency of that love. It means for me, for my perception, that I emit the same feeling. I emit that feeling, and by the law of attraction, on the other side, that person, he feels also, or she feels that. So it means at the end of the day that we can understand each other and we can feel each other. Um, we can in good relation at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my audio cut out because someone called me. Okay, so your question is, you're wondering if this person can feel you if you're just using the law of attraction. I want to make sure I understand your question. What is it exactly that you are
Yes,
asking?
yes, I mean that. At the end of the day, we can feel each other.
Okay. I know personally because I'm a very strong empath. Not everybody is. Not everybody is a strong empath. I myself can feel people when they're thinking about me with emotion. I can feel the emotion no matter where they are. They can be in Serbia, and I will literally pick it up and I will know exactly who it is. But that's rare. I think that that's not very common. The law of attraction, if you're trying to attract someone into your life, and I'm guessing that's what you're talking about, is attracting someone into your life that you like. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own will, and everyone is their own being. So some people say, well, what happens when I want to use the law of attraction to attract that specific person? Well, instead of trying to attract that specific person, if it's not working, especially if it looks like it's not working for you and they're not picking up on your signs and it doesn't look like they feel the same way back, what you should be doing is saying, I choose to attract my soulmate, the one who is meant for me, the one who, the only one out there for me. That kind of thing with the law of attraction. Because if you try to use the law of attraction on someone who you think belongs to you, but really they don't, they have their own path and they belong with someone else, the law of attraction won't work. They have their own will. They are their own path, their own person. So if you want to use the law of attraction to attract your soulmate, then you don't put a name on that. You don't put a face or a name on that. And as far as talking to this person that you're attracted to, tell them directly if it's appropriate. Probably wouldn't be good if you're their boss and they're working under you.
Yeah, not
probably wouldn't be a great time to do that.
Yeah, timing is certainly everything.
Okay, so if you can tell me how to attract them.
Okay.
And how,
yes, yeah. Okay, I can do that. Yes, if you're not talking about a specific person, if you're just saying I want to find my soulmate.
I'm talking about a specific person, actually.
Okay. Well, if they are. That's where the law of attraction will have its limits because they have their own free will. Now, if that person is attracted to you, it will work. It will work because they're attracted to you, you're attracted to them, and there's no reason for it not to work. If they do not belong to you, and believe me, I've had that myself. I've had plenty of instances where I was very attracted to someone, they were not attracted to me, and that doesn't work. It doesn't matter how you use the law of attraction with that. There's no way to bend someone else's fate to your will. Does that make sense? Yes. Now, here's the way to find out. Here's the way to find out if they are really with you. You imagine this person, and you send them love and white light. You close your eyes and you imagine this person, that visual, their face, and you imagine sending white light and love and wonderful, loving, beautiful energies to them, okay? All of the things that you would love to express with that person. And you continuously do that before you go to bed every night. Now, if that person is meant to be with you, if they are attracted to you, if it's mutual, then that works. If they're not attracted to you, it won't matter how good you do it.
So, where's the role of the law of attraction here?
Well, with the law of attraction, see, this is where the law of attraction is used to bring love. You say, I picture my soulmate. Let's pretend that you don't even know who your soulmate is. You don't even know who you're attracted to, but you feel a deep love. Then you use the law of attraction to bring your soulmate, your true love into your life by imagining what kind of hair does this person have, what does their face look like, how do they treat you, what tone of voice, what kind of sense of humor, what kind of movies, and you go down the list. But when it comes to a specific person that you're attracted to, you don't know until you have a talk with them or until they make it known. You don't know if they are really yours. You don't know that. And there's no way to make someone who is not attracted to you, there's no way to bend their will. You would not want to do that anyway. You don't want to take away anyone's willpower anyway. So, and it's not possible anyway. It's not possible to take away someone's willpower. So, yeah, I would just imagine this person and keep sending love and beautiful emotions and feeling energy to this person. See this person in your mind at night and approach this person out loud. Talk to this person and see if you can pick up some signs. If you don't want to be outright direct and say, "Hey, I'm really attracted to you." Go further with this, like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you would like also to tell that law of attraction, it has limitation, right?
No. Well, only when you're naming a specific person, because that person is a separate being, just like you, and there is no way to make a being who belongs with someone else. See, everyone has their own pattern that they have to, their own way that they have to go in life, and there's no way to interrupt someone else's pattern and make it your pattern. So that would be like, what do you call that?
You can't control.
Right, yeah. When you swallow another, being and it becomes part of you, there's no way to abduct another soul from away from their destiny. And maybe this person's destiny is with you, and maybe it is not with you. But the only two ways to find out are to approach this person directly, and before you do that, continuously send loving emotions and warm hugs and kisses in your mind towards this person, and see this person, see you two together in your visualization, in your imagination. And then once you've done that for a little while, go approach this person and see if they warm up to you. See if they're warm to you. And it may be that it does not work. I have personally experienced sending loving emotions and all of this to someone I was attracted to. They were not attracted to me. It did not work. I later found out, thank God it didn't work, because I found out things about the people that I was attracted to. Oh my God, I'm so glad that the universe was watching my back. I dodged that bullet. Just trust. You have to know that everything that comes to you in your life is really, really there when you need it. It is absolutely there when you need it. So attract your soulmate. Ask for your soulmate to come to you. It may or may not be this person. Focus on the soulmate coming to you. Focus on the kind of relationship and the kind of emotions and the kind of loyalty that you want to experience with a person. And like I said, accept the fact that it may not be this person. You have to be ready for either answer. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. I would like to tell also, I'm sorry for taking a lot of time, but this is very important. I revealed that feeling before, and she was not ready for that, and the result was to separate. But so far, I can feel the same feeling for her. So I'm talking about the hope, because when I read about the law of attraction, I got the meaning that when you need something, as you said, as you explained, when you need something or you want something, by the law of attraction, it comes to you.
Hey, Jacob,
when you imagine it, you believe in it.
Let me suggest something to you,
right?
Jacob.
Yeah.
Jacob, let me suggest something to you.
That's
good. I want to kind of reverse the scenario a little bit here, okay? Let's imagine that there was a woman out there who wanted to attract you, okay? And she was going to use the law of attraction to do this, okay? So she does all the things that Alan was just talking about, and she puts all this out there. But it turns out that when you meet her, you're not attracted to her at all. You're not physically attracted. She doesn't seem like the kind of person you really want to be with, but she's been working to attract you, okay? Now, I'm going to pretend that the rules about the law of attraction don't really work the way Alan is talking about just for a second. Let's assume, for the sake of discussion, that she could draw you into your life and make you be a part of a relationship with her, even though you don't feel that kind of great feeling toward her. Would you want to be in that relationship?
Sorry, the question again. please.
Okay. If she was able to draw you in kind of against your will, so that she managed through the law of attraction to draw you in and make you part of your relationship with her, even though you really just didn't feel it with her, would you be happy to be in that relationship?
Another relationship?
No. We're talking about a relationship with one person who is using the law of attraction to draw you into her life. And you're not really terribly attracted to her, but she draws you in anyway, and she manages to kind of corral you using the law of attraction. Would you want to be in that relationship with her?
Yeah, why not?
Really? So you would be okay with being in a relationship with somebody that you're really not happy with, but because she drew you in, then it's okay?
That's great. I'm a little bit confused because I'm trying to use the law of attraction, but I would like to understand totally the law and the limitations of the law, because sometimes I feel confused. Does it work or not?
It does work. It does work.
Yeah,
What I was trying to get to there, Jacob, is you kind of said, yeah, it's okay, that's great. I wasn't sure that you really wanted to be in that relationship. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But the point is, if you're drawn into a relationship against your will and you're not really happy, that kind of relationship can't work out. I mean, even if you manage to pull it off, it can't really work. In the long run, that's two people who aren't going to be able to stay together. I mean, it's just going to fall apart after time. Both of the people have to want to be there. So when you're trying to use a universal law in order to make somebody else be a part of your life, you're trying to set up a scenario that can't hold together. Yeah. Do you see that?
Yeah, I can imagine that.
So since we know that, then it's not about whether or not you can draw somebody in with the law of attraction. You can, as long as that's somebody who would have the same feelings for you as you would have for them. That would work great. What you can't do is like what Alan was saying. You can't do it to just get somebody else to be in love with you. You can't just get somebody else with a law of attraction to become the person you want them to be. And that's a good thing. Because actually, this universe is so much better when everybody is who they really are, not when they are somebody trying to be what somebody else wants them to be. Because when you get people who are trying to be what somebody else wants them to be, that's where you get unhealthy things like codependency, lack of self-love, lack of self-confidence. That's where you get broken relationships from. So, like Alan was saying, you really want to stay away from trying to get someone to be attracted to you through the law of attraction. That actually works against you.
That's good, but you would like to tell that it is must to reveal or to approach or to speak it directly that I'm feeling love in her, or by law of attraction, she will feel the same feeling also, and we can meet in us.
Only if she does. If she does, that's the key thing. It's not that she will. It's if she does. If she doesn't feel the same thing, then you don't really want to attract her in the first place, I don't think, unless you want to have a broken relationship.
But if she doesn't, it means that the law of attraction failed?
No, it's not because the law of attraction didn't fail. It's that you and she weren't a good fit for each other.
You just can't control. You can't control other people with the law of attraction. You can only control yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Right now, it's clear. Right now.
Yeah. And by the way, this is very common what you're talking about, Jacob. A lot of people struggle with this kind of thing. And a lot of it, I'm going to give you a little bit of a clue to work with here. A lot of it happens because, believe it or not, when we're in the space that you're in right now, we aren't really loving ourselves as much as we could. It's not like you don't love yourself. I'm sure you do. But you're not giving yourself as much respect as you really deserve. And that sounds like a strange thing to say. But the fact is, if you love yourself more, if you spent more time appreciating yourself, you'd find you'd have less of an interest in trying to get her to bend to your will, to be attracted into you through the law of attraction. Because you just feel good about yourself, and you wouldn't need that anymore. So I'm going to recommend something to you. Look up online. There are a lot of affirmations and practices and processes you can do. I'm going to recommend one. Look up mirror exercises, which is where you look in the mirror every day and you talk to yourself. look up mirror exercises and do all those for 30 days. They're really easy. You can do them in a minute or two every day. And really what they're all about is just talking to yourself in the mirror and saying how much you love yourself and you appreciate yourself, and you talk about all the good things about yourself so that you're building up your self-confidence inside. And if you do that for 30 days, I promise you, after that 30-day period, you're going to feel completely differently about trying to attract somebody into your life using the law of attraction. Instead of where you are right now, you're going to be in a place where you say, I just want to find my soulmate. Send me my soulmate. It doesn't have to be that particular girl.
That's great.
Okay.
That's good. Okay, that's good.
Alan, anything more that you need to add?
Cool. Sounds totally tied up.
All right. Shelly, anything more from you?
No?
I think we've done it. Have we answered the question for you, Jacob?
Yeah. And thank you very much for the clarification.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for
Awesome.
calling in, too. We really appreciate that. Especially for coming onto the platform, because not everybody likes to do that. So thank you for sharing your story, because, boy, it makes a big difference.
Thanks.
All right.
A lot.
Thanks a lot, Jacob. And I think we kind of gone over time, but that's all right. This was worthwhile. Alan, before we go, I want to give you a chance to let listeners know how they can reach out to you, first of all, about the workshops you're doing, and second of all, if they just want to reach out to you as a coach. We never did get into the quantum healing thing, so maybe we'll do that another time, but how do they reach out to you?
Well, right now you can find me on Facebook from just under the name Alan Bowman, and that is spelled A-L-L-A-N, and the last name is Bowman, B-O-W-M-A-N, and I've got my mug up there so you'll recognize me. And right now, because I am developing, I'm actually getting my blog site going, and the workshop thing is in the beta testing stage, so everything is very, very new. But yeah, the best way to get me is through Facebook. You can also go to email me at my email. That would be a good way. Alan.
I love it.
Alan at, and that's spelled A-L-L-A-N, Alan at totalfreedomliving.com.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So they can find out not only how to contact you, they can find out about the workshop there as well?
Right. Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
Even though that's brand new, it is off to a banging start, and I'm absolutely 100% certain of where it's going and what I want to turn it into. So this is just the very beginning of the whole workshop bit. But yes, get me at Alan at totalfreedomliving.com, and we can talk about individual coaching sessions or group coaching sessions or quantum healing hypnosis, or get me as a physical fitness trainer, or all three.
Boy, if you get you for all three, you're going to give people a workout. I could just tell. I mean, you're going to be working them to the bone.
Awesome. Thank you.
I love
Thank
it.
you.
Shelly, anything you want to share before we sign off for the night?
No, I'm good.
You're all good? Okay. Well, thank you, Alan, for joining us. It's kind of a last-minute thing, but it worked out really nicely. It was great hearing your perspective. I love a lot of the things you were talking about there, too. So really, thank you for sharing who you are and what you do here on the program.
And thank you so much. I wanted to thank both of you for the invite. Awesome hosts, gracious, just totally gracious, and just awesome hosts. I've never done anything like this before. So I was really impressed by the way. Very, very cool, very professional. And you guys are just two of the nicest people. So thank you so much for having me on. And anytime, I would love to revisit.
Great.
Anytime.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back.
Okay.
That sounds
Awesome.
good.
Thank you.
And thank you to our live stream audience. Thank you to our podcast listeners, of course, because they're like 98% of our audience anyway. Thank you to Jacob for also connecting into the platform. And so thank you all of you. And Shelly as well. Shelly, I'll be talking to you again next Monday. We'll see you all again next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.